What does the gate lead to? On a desolate plateau stretching more than 3,800 meters above sea level, where the wind howls like a call from the distant past, a giant stone stands in the middle of an empty field, silent for thousands of years. It is not a wall, nor is it the remains of an ancient temple. It is a gate, a single stone gate, without doors, without walls, without a roof, standing there as if waiting for something or someone. The natives call it Puerta del Sol, the Gate of the Sun. But the question that immediately comes to mind when standing before it is, where does this gate lead? First steps into mystery. Let us imagine ourselves as explorers. After days of walking through barren mountains, dry lands, and fogs that seem to thicken at night, suddenly, from the horizon, a strange stone structure appeared in the middle of the empty plain. There are no surrounding walls, no columns, no temples nearby. Just a single stone block weighing nearly 10 tons, more than 3 meters high, with a rectangular hole carved into its center, as if someone had walked through it, or would someday. What was even more strange was its appearance. The entire surface was carved with mysterious shapes, like the control panel of a prehistoric spacecraft. In the center of the front of the gate was a strange humanoid with a face that seemed to be crying and shooting 24 rays of light from its head, called Viracocha, the creator by the Incas later on. Surrounding the humanoid figure were 48 smaller, bird-headed figures, some holding clubs, others seemingly crying or screaming. Is this a mythological symbol? Or a kind of astronomical calendar? Or an alien coding system? The silence, frozen in time. Tiwanaku, the archaeological site that houses the Gate of the Sun, was once called the beginning of the world in Inca mythology. But today, the place has an eerie silence. No birds, no trees, just wind and rocks, as if time had stopped long ago. Some visitors say that when they stand in front of the gate, they feel a strange energy running down their spines. Clocks sometimes stop working, compass needles wobble aimlessly. The question arises again, what is going on here? Could this place really be a meeting point between our world and another? The gate leads nowhere, but is it really? A gate, symbolically, always implies a transition, from one place to another, from one stage to another. But what makes the Gate of the Sun so mysterious is that it leads nowhere. There are no connecting roads, no signs that it was ever the entrance to a temple or larger structure. So why would the ancients meticulously carve such cryptic symbols into something that seemed useless? Some modern scholars believe that it could be a symbolic gate through which the souls of the dead pass to enter the afterlife. But there are also more daring theories. The Gate of the Sun is an ancient device used to locate the stars, or even to trigger something when the astronomical elements and energies reach a state of perfection. Touching the legends, when science is only a small part of the truth. The indigenous Aymara people believe that this place was built by giants from the earliest times of the world, a time when humans lived in harmony with the gods or beings from the stars. Some legends tell of people of light who appeared through the gate, then disappeared without a trace, leaving mortals with a promise. We will return when the stars align. When the Spanish arrived in South America in the 16th century, they were led here by the Incas as if to the beginning of the world. Missionaries wrote of a sacred place where time ceased to flow. Modern science, no matter how advanced, cannot disprove or verify these accounts. The problem is not the ability to measure, but rather, current science does not have the tools to measure something that has never existed in modern consciousness. Creepy theories. The gate of time travel. Some researchers, such as Eric von Daniken, believe that the Sun Gate is actually a kind of quantum gateway, similar to the concept of a wormhole in modern physics. Perhaps when the time is right, for example, a total solar eclipse on the spring equinox, the gate will open, not physically, but energetically, a device transmitting signals to the stars. There's a theory that the Viracocha symbol and the surrounding figures may be an ancient form of binary code, transmitting messages via electromagnetic waves or an interface to a lost astronomical system. These carvings bear many surprising similarities to ancient star maps in Egypt and Sumer. The gate lost from its original location. Geographical studies, the gate may have been moved thousands of years ago, either by earthquake or erosion. Where was its original location? If it were put back in the right place and facing the right direction, would it trigger something never seen before? Silent but alive when stone speaks. The ancients did not write history on paper. They wrote in stone, and the stones never lie if we know how to listen. When we look at the Gate of the Sun, we do not see just a stone weighing tons. We see a symbol, a message, a great question that our ancestors have carved into eternity, so that future generations will have to stop, think, and doubt everything they thought they knew about the world. Because sometimes what matters is not what the gate opens, but who put it there and for what reason. And as night falls on the Altiplano Plateau, with the cold moon and stars shining on the ancient rock, something urges us to move closer, to touch the stone, and to wonder, if I walk across, where will I end up? It is no longer an archaeological question. It is a whisper from the stars, and an invitation from the most mysterious source of humanity. Chapter 2. Tiwanaku, the Forgotten Civilization. If the Gate of the Sun is a gateway to the unknown, then the civilization that created it is something that both archaeologists and dreamers cannot help but be fascinated by. Tiwanaku, a name that seems to have quietly disappeared from the memory of human history, but still lives like an ancient soul waiting to be awakened. We know of Egypt, Sumer, ancient China, or the Inca and Maya empires. But Tiwanaku? History has almost forgotten it. And it is that silence that has turned Tiwanaku into one of the greatest mysteries ever hidden under the dust of time. Tiwanaku, a stone symphony in the heart of the earth and sky, located in the Altiplano region, the plateau between Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. Tiwanaku was once the cultural, religious, and astronomical center of a civilization that reached its peak before the Incas appeared. It is not just a city, but a huge cultural ecosystem, with architecture, farming systems, religions, and scientific mysteries that have yet to be fully explained. Tiwanaku flourished around 400 to 1000 AD, according to modern scholars. But some bold hypotheses, such as that of archaeologist Arthur Poznansky, suggest that it may have existed 15,000 years ago. That is, since prehistoric times, when humans were still hunter-gatherers in most other parts of the world. Timeless constructions. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of Kalasasaya Square, a giant rectangular construction built from stone blocks weighing tens of tons, cut with incredible precision and linked together by T-shaped metal anchors, a technology that seems modern but was present here in an era when no one could have imagined it. The stones were moved from quarries dozens of kilometers away. How did they get them across the rugged terrain, without wheels or draft animals? And then there's Puma Punku, a part of Tiwanaku, which contains andesite blocks with perfectly square edges, precisely drilled holes, even parallel grooves, techniques that even modern CNC machines have to consider. Many researchers could not believe their eyes when they saw it. If I did not know that this was an ancient artifact, I would have thought that someone had just brought these stones from a modern factory. Dr. Alexei Vrenik, University of California. Puma Punku, where time breaks down. Puma Punku is more than just an extension of Tiwanaku. It is like a spatial anomaly, a place where conventional logic no longer applies. Why? Because the largest stones here weigh more than 130 tons, and they're not only precisely placed, but also fit together like giant Lego pieces. In many cases, it is impossible to fit a piece of paper between stones. Many theories suggest that the Tiwanaku used a stone softening technology or even some kind of lost gravity shaping technology. But if such technology existed, where did it come from? Was it created by humans or bestowed by another civilization? The wordless mystery, no writing, but a language of stone. The Tiwanaku left no writing. No language, symbols like the systems of the Maya or the ancient Egyptians. But they left something more durable than paper, stone. And on the stone, they told a story in symbols, in carvings, something that only those with the eyes of time could understand. When looking at the reliefs at Tiwanaku, one sees spatial symbols, hybrid images of humans and animals, astronomical symbols, and cyclical numbers of 20 and 260, similar to the Mesoamerican calendar. Some scholars believe that the structures at Tiwanaku may have been a kind of stone computer, where data is stored in shapes and angles, similar to the way quantum computers store information through superpositions. The biggest question: who built Tiwanaku? This is a question that has puzzled scientists for more than 150 years. Who built Tiwanaku? The Incas? No, they appeared thousands of years later. The Incas themselves revered this place as a sacred land of their divine ancestors. They said that they only inherited, they did not build. So who? A prehistoric civilization gone extinct, possibly due to global natural disasters, epidemics, or severe climate change. Ancient aliens. As Eric von Daniken and other ancient theorists believe, Tiwanaku was an interstellar transit station. Descendants of Atlantis or Lemuria, civilizations that have been lost to legend, but left traces through timeless structures. An Earth civilization that has rebooted many times. Perhaps human history is not as linear as we think, but cyclical, where civilizations develop and collapse, repeating like the breathing of the planet. Canal systems and evaporative agriculture. A forgotten biological empire. Tiwanaku were more than stonemasons. They were true ancient ecologists. The evidence is in the camelones, a system of canals interspersed with raised beds. This system helps increase soil moisture, prevent frost by keeping water temperature, recycle silt, minimize flooding. We, with all our modern technology, are still studying the systems that Tiwanaku built more than a millennium ago. And then we wonder, do they understand nature better than we do? The mystery of the disappearance. Tiwanaku was once the religious, cultural, technical center of the Andes region. But around the 11th century, it disappeared, almost overnight. There was no sign of war, no looted royal tombs, no trace of mass epidemics. Only bare stone structures remained, soulless, but still bearing the appearance of an unprecedented greatness. Some say they were destroyed by natural disasters, volcanoes, flash floods, or earthquakes. Some say they migrated en masse towards the sea to find their starting point. But a quieter theory is chilling. Maybe they accomplished their purpose and left. The spirit of a civilization still whispers. As you stand among the ruins of Tiwanaku, it feels as if someone is still here. The shadows cast by the strange stone blocks stretch in the sunlight, forming the shapes of creatures that once lived or still live in Aymara legends. Tiwanaku has never been a dead city. It is simply a sleeping sanctuary. And sometimes on full moon nights, it is said, the sound of stone footsteps echoes through the ancient plaza, as if the gods have returned to see if today's humanity is worthy of what they left behind. A never-ending question. What are we looking for here? Are we turning over rocks, measuring, taking drone photos and drawing maps, not to study, but to communicate with the past? A past where humans went further, knew more, understood more, and then forgot about themselves? Tiwanaku is not the answer. It is a giant stone question, and only if we are patient, humble, and curious enough can we hear its whispers in the wind, in the rocks, and in things that science has yet to name. Tiwanaku has never disappeared. It is just waiting for us to return at the right time, in the right place, and on the right frequency. Chapter 3. The Gate of the Sun, the sculpture that speaks. In the middle of a barren land, where the wind blows through snow-capped mountains and the ground is as hard as an ancient oath, a stone gate stands silently in the sky. It leads to nowhere. No walls, no paths, no connecting structures. And because of that, it becomes all the more mysterious and creepy. People call it the Gate of the Sun, La Puerta del Sol. But who named it that? And is this sun that we know the thing that shines overhead? Or is it something else, something far away, something more ancient? A block of stone, a message from prehistoric times. The Gate of the Sun is carved from a single block of andesite stone, weighing about 10 tons, nearly 3 meters high, nearly 4 meters wide, standing upright like a gate opening to nothingness. No one knows what it was used for. A ceremonial entrance? An observatory? A sort of sacred calendar? But what has been the center of controversy for centuries is the bas-relief above the gate, a strange, intricate, and seemingly otherworldly work of art. Viracocha, Lightbringer, or Star Spider. In the center of the gate is a mystical figure, a god standing upright, his head glowing with light, his hands holding an object that looks like a scepter or a lightning bolt. His face looks inhuman. His gaze is cold, his mouth is shaped like an O, and he is surrounded by strange symbols, half human, half animal, half mechanical. The Incas called this god Viracocha, the creator of the universe, the one who created the sun, the moon, the stars, and even humans. According to legend, Viracocha was not a pure god, but a visitor from the ocean, bringing knowledge, technology, and wisdom to create the world, then leaving, promising to return. Sound familiar? White gods, who came from the sea, brought technology, then disappeared. Like the Aztecs' Quetzalcoatl, the Mayans' Kukulkan, are we talking about the same entity present in many cultures, as if he had traveled the ancient world? The talking stone calendar. But what really has archaeologists stumped is the series of geometric carvings surrounding Viracocha. There are 48 creatures, or symbols, surrounding him, 32 winged and 16 wingless. Each has a different face, meaning they carry a unique message. Some researchers believe that this is a super precise astronomical calendar, encoding the movements of the planets, the cycles of solar and lunar eclipses, and even time markers that are not in official history. Arthur Poznansky, a pioneering researcher of Tiwanaku, believes that this gate not only records time, but also signals periods of great change for the Earth, like a cosmic clock. This is not a simple gate. It is an astronomical structure, a warning of the end of the world cycle. Symbolic language. Messages from the universe? Under Viracocha's cold gaze, there are a series of symbols that look like electrical circuits. The symbols repeat in cycles, as if encoding information. There are lines connecting the creatures, not randomly, but according to clear geometric mathematical rules. Some theorists have suggested that the Gate of the Sun is not a religious monument, but an ancient circuit board, as if someone had carved a programming language into the stone for those smart enough to decipher. Could be a space-time activator, or a data storage similar to a hard drive, where the symbols are strings of bits and stone. Some have even dared to claim that this is a stargate leading to other dimensions. Hybrid creature symbols, ancient DNA messages. Upon closer inspection, the creatures surrounding Viracocha appear to be a combination of many species, with bird heads, human bodies, bat wings, snake tails. They seem to have come out of a ghostly dream or an ancient DNA laboratory. One theory is that this is evidence of prehistoric genetic engineering, where the Tiwanaku, or their gods, manipulated life at the atomic level. Some of the images are even worn away, not by time, but by deliberate erasure. Is there something too dangerous for posterity to know about? Vibration frequency. Can the gate activate? A team of scientists and acoustic engineers recently conducted a special experiment. They generated sound frequencies in a pattern of spaces carved into the gate. The results were astonishing. The sound bounced back in symmetrical waveforms, identical to the pattern of solfeggio frequencies, sounds that are said to have healing and activating powers of higher consciousness. One theory is that the gate can open when vibrated at the right frequency, like a lock that requires a code. If so, then we are standing before a technological device encoded in stone and frequency, a form of extremely advanced ancient technology. The gate opens on a special day. Another strange thing, at certain times of the year, such as the spring equinox and summer solstice, sunlight shines through the center of the gate, creating a mysterious light phenomenon. The Tiwanaku may have aligned the gate with the Earth's rotational axis, like the pyramids in Egypt or Stonehenge in England. When the light hits at the right time, the carvings appear to light up, as if activating a circuit of stone energy. Did they believe that at that moment, the gate actually opened? Not physically, but mentally? The gate does not belong where it is now. A notable finding. Based on stratigraphic analysis, the Gate of the Sun has been knocked over and moved from its original location. Could it have been the center of a larger structure, or even a system of gates, connecting multiple energy points on the planet? Imagine if every ancient gate like those in Bolivia, Baalbek, Lebanon, Giza, Egypt, Angkor Wat, Cambodia, were connecting stations in a global energy network? If so, then we're not just looking at a stone structure, but part of an ancient cosmic internet system. What they left behind and what they hid. The Gate of the Sun is like a message, half revealed, half hidden. It opens up unimaginable possibilities. There was a civilization that once knew how to manipulate space, time, and energy. They left us clues in stone, because that is the only thing that transcends time. They are not dead. They may have just retreated into another dimension, waiting for us to evolve enough to understand. A whisper in the stone. When you stand before the Gate of the Sun, close your eyes. Don't look with your physical eyes. Feel it intuitively, with the oldest part of you, where your ancestors still live. What will you hear? A heartbeat? A song in a lost language? Or a call to your own origins? The gate is more than a block of stone. It is a mirror of the human soul. And the real question is not where does it lead, but do I have the courage to step through? Chapter 4. Lost Technology, Tiwanaku, and the Alien Hypothesis. In the first moment of entering the Tiwanaku archaeological site, many people feel something is very wrong, not because of the ruins, not because of the age of thousands of years, but because there is something here that is too modern, too precise, too illogical, to the point that it cannot be a product of the Stone Age. And from here, a classic hypothesis gradually emerges from the ancient dust. Were the builders of Tiwanaku not from Earth? The mystery of unreproducible technology. The first question scientists asked when surveying Tiwanaku was, how could the ancients cut, grind, transport, and assemble andesite blocks weighing tens of tons, without metal, without wheels, without draft animals, and at an altitude of more than 3,800 meters? Some of the stones at Tiwanaku, and especially at Puma Punku, the adjacent architectural complex, are cut to an accuracy of 0.1 millimeters, with mirror-like surfaces and grooves that form perfect right angles. Andesite, a super hard stone, requires modern techniques to work equivalent to diamond or laser cutting tools. Traditional archaeologists say that the indigenous people used stone tools and time to do it. But if you have ever held a stone hammer, you will understand. That is impossible. The stones look like they were molded. There's a strange feature. Many of the stones at Puma Punku are not just cut. They are as if molded. They're so perfectly shaped that they look like modern industrial products. The hypothesis is, could they have known the technology to soften the stone? Or was it the technique of casting stone using molds, a form of natural concrete? Or, as some fringe researchers believe, did they possess the technology to 3D print using minerals? The next question is even more frightening. Who taught them how to do it? Sacred geometry, engineering from the stars? When analyzing the proportions and shapes of the stone blocks at Tiwanaku, experts realize that many of the structures use the golden ratio, 1 minute and 1.618 seconds, widely used in astronomy, biology, and even modern space design. H-shaped stone blocks are repeated in a geometrically symmetrical pattern, as if to transmit electrical or magnetic energy, similar to modern electronic circuit boards. The entire Puma Punku site, when viewed from above, feels like an engineering drawing, not a random construction. These findings lead to a bold hypothesis. Tiwanaku may have been a high-tech center, serving extraterrestrial purposes. Signals from the sky, Viracocha, and the helmet. Remember Viracocha? In the previous chapter, we saw him carved on the Gate of the Sun, with a rayed halo, holding weapons in both hands. Now let's look at that image with modern eyes. The halo around his head looks like a helmet. The thick, detailed clothing around the neck and arms looks like a spacesuit. The objects he holds are not simple staffs. They look like energy generators or weapons. Many unconventional scholars believe that Viracocha is not a god, but an extraterrestrial being worshipped by the ancients. He came from the sky, teaching people language, mathematics, engineering, and left with a promise to return. Sound familiar? Like the gods from the planet Nibiru in the Sumerian epics, or the fallen angels in the Book of Enoch. Strange objects in indigenous myths. The Aymara people, closely related to the Tiwanaku, tell of this. The gods flew down from the mountains in glowing discs. They spoke with light, turned stone into water, moved by thought. Some even married humans, producing children with special abilities. These descriptions, in modern language, match the images of UFOs, communicating via telepathy, anti-gravity technology, and genetic hybrids between humans and aliens. If this is just a legend, then why are the descriptions identical in other cultures thousands of miles apart? The energy pit, the space gate at Tiwanaku, one of the lesser-known sites is the energy pit in the heart of Tiwanaku, where compass needles spin wildly, electronic devices lose signal. When measured with a magnetometer, scientists discovered there is an irregular, uneven, and oscillating magnetic field that fluctuates with the lunar cycle. Some simulation models show a spiraling energy spiral, as if there is an energy flow swirling deep into the Earth. The hypothesis: this place was once a space-time portal activated by frequency, like the Stargate in modern legends. Did the gods, or star people, use this place to travel between worlds, and Tiwanaku itself was their transit point? Mysterious disappearance, traces erased? If Tiwanaku was an alien technological center, why did it collapse? What happened? There are three intriguing theories. The cataclysm global catastrophe. A cataclysm, asteroid impact, or shift in Earth's axis wiped out civilization and buried knowledge. Self-destruction of the legacy. The last people who understood the technology deliberately destroyed it so that humanity would not misuse it. Hidden from history, some force erased the evidence so that humanity would not know it had received help from visitors from the stars. The truth is, many structures at Tiwanaku are still buried under layers of rock, and excavations have been suspended for unknown reasons. Who is afraid of what? The final hypothesis: who are we? If what is recorded at Tiwanaku is true, that humanity was guided by aliens, then that changes everything. We are not alone in the universe. Human history did not begin in a cave, it began in the stars. And perhaps, we are the descendants of an alliance between heaven and earth. The final question is, will they come back? And if so, are we ready to understand them? The gate is closed, or is it just waiting for the right person to open it? The gate of the sun still stands there, silently. No laser signal, no blue light, no sound. But who knows? It's just because we're not at the right frequency, not vibrating enough, not understanding enough. Who knows if just one person touches the right place at the right time, carrying the ancient blood, then the gate will open. Chapter 5: Unsolved Mysteries, Tiwanaku and the Curse of Time. Cyclone distorted history. Who rewrote the past? When the first archaeologists discovered Tiwanaku in the 16th century, they immediately assumed that it was a city built by the Incas. But as archaeological evidence became clearer, one undeniable fact emerged. Tiwanaku predated the Inca civilization by more than 2,000 years. The question immediately arose: if not the Incas, then who were the real owners of Tiwanaku? And why did all traces of them disappear? There is even a hypothesis that some invisible force deliberately distorted history, erasing the true role of this ancient civilization. Why? To hide what? Derelict house, a city frozen in time. A strange feature of Tiwanaku is there is no sign of development in stages like other ancient cities. There are no primitive architectural styles, wooden houses, rough brick houses. Instead, from the beginning, the constructions were perfect, precise stone cutting, astronomical arrangements, underground water lines, as if everything appeared at the same time and then stopped forever. Like a city frozen in time. What could cause an entire civilization to suddenly stop? Plague? Natural disaster? Or a metaphysical event, like a curse? Puzzle piece clues from the undeciphered stone tablets. One of the biggest mysteries at Tiwanaku is the characters and symbols carved into the stone. No modern language has been able to decipher them. They don't resemble the writing systems of the Maya, Incas, or Egyptians. They are repeating spirals, nonlinear geometric symbols, like ancient programming codes. Humanoid figures with unusually large heads, large eyes, and long arms, inhuman in appearance. Some experts believe they are not letters, but energy maps, technological formulas, or even warnings. Warnings about what? Tornado, the vanishing event, the storm that stopped time. The Aymara have an ancient legend that says, one night, the whole sky was red as blood. Flying saucers cast shadows on the ground. Then there was a silent explosion, and everything disappeared. It sounds like a scene from a science fiction movie. But when placed next to the remains at Tiwanaku, the rocks were melted as if by immense heat. The structures were destroyed not by earthquakes, but as if by energy shock waves. Some areas show signs of unusually mild radiation, similar to Chernobyl. Theories. An ancient device at Tiwanaku was activated and caused a time format disruption, causing the entire city to stop existing in the flow of reality. A portal? A failed experiment? A dimensional accident? Compass astronomical charts. Messages from the universe? The Sun Gate and many other structures at Tiwanaku are aligned with precise astronomical cycles. But the scary thing is, some of the star charts here do not match the current sky. They are only accurate if you go back in time by about 15,000 years. Or if you're on another planet. Are these charts not just calendars, but celestial coordinates? A message to someone far away? Hourglass not done the curse of time. Who will return? In a small stone, buried under the earth and rocks for centuries, archaeologists found an open eye and a hand pointing west, engraved next to an ancient inscription. When the sun returns to its original position, the gate will open and you will return. This inscription gives rise to the curse of time. The belief that Tiwanaku is not a dead place, but a sleeping place awaiting the return of the gods or the ancients who have passed through the gate. Some believe that the year will come at a junction in the 26,000-year cycle of the Earth's axis, called the convergence of the Great Cycle. When time, space, and the soul are in sync, the Sun Gate will open again. Milky Way Tiwanaku. Clues to a buried past? Let's take a look at everything we know about Tiwanaku, a city with no evolutionary beginning, only an end. Technology far beyond the capabilities of its time. Symbols and characters that do not belong to any civilization. Evidence of energy, astronomy, and even unidentified matter. And when it all adds up, Tiwanaku is more than just a relic. It could be a remnant of a forgotten prehistoric era when humans made contact with extraterrestrial life, even learned from it. Rain the ultimate question, were we them? If they came here, if they lived among us, if they shared knowledge, DNA, and memories, could it be that we are not just descendants, but are them? Could it be that Tiwanaku, with its Sun Gate, is not a door to another world, but a door back to where we once belonged? The gate still stands, unopened, unlocked, but always waiting for the right person. Chapter 6. Decoding the mysterious energy, Puma Punku and the buried ancient technology. Brick Puma Punku, a structure that does not belong to any era. Right next to the legendary city of Tiwanaku is another site that is even more mysterious and surreal. A place that modern scientists are speechless when confronted with. Puma Punku, the door of the Puma, an architecture that seems to come from the future. The first thing that makes Puma Punku inexplicable is the H-blocks, also known as mysterious H-blocks, have precise cuts and grooves down to the millimeter level. The holes, joints, and interlocks are made with a technology that did not exist in the pre-Inca period. The stones here are diorite and andesite, two types of stone that are almost as hard as diamonds, and cannot be worked with bronze tools, the only materials that the ancients are said to have possessed. An archaeologist once confessed, "If I believed that Puma Punku was built by ancient people without electricity, without industrial stone-cutting machines, then I would have to deny all the scientific knowledge I have ever learned." Cyclone the code of the stones, the discovery of the energy machine. The deeper researchers dug into Puma Punku, the more they discovered that the stones were not randomly arranged, but could be a sophisticated energy system. Small blue diamond hint from the physics of resonance. The grooves carved on the stones are all evenly spaced, creating sound vibrations or electromagnetic waves when air flows through. When the natives sang near these stones, they sometimes heard echoes coming back, not following the usual acoustic rules. The stones are shaped like acoustic resonators, a design similar to modern frequency amplifiers. Small blue diamond Puma Punku as a giant microchip? A shocking hypothesis has been put forward. Puma Punku is an energy transmitter or a ground-based power station, just like Nikola Tesla dreamed of a wireless world. If that hypothesis is correct, then the underground channels once carried plasma energy or vibrations from the Earth's core. The entire Puma Punku Tiwanaku complex acted as the motherboard, a satellite of an ancient device capable of transforming physical reality. Red triangle pointed up the mysterious H-block. The key to ancient technology? The H-block at Puma Punku has stunned modern-day civil engineers. There are about 80 H-shaped stone blocks, weighing from 5 to 20 tons. All have almost perfect dimensions, angles, and keyholes. When placed in the right place, they fit together like giant Legos, creating a structure that resists earthquakes, directs energy, and reflects frequencies. A NASA engineer once simulated the shape of the H-cube using a quantum computer and found it resembles the most basic logic circuit in an ancient quantum AI system, where each block acts as a physical logic gate that conducts data. Are we standing before the remains of an alien or superhuman technology? Wrench traces of super tools? When researchers scanned the surface of the Puma Punku stone with a microscope, they found smooth, unabrasive cuts, signs of the use of extremely high-speed rotating tools. Some of the stone's edges showed signs of magnetization, similar to that left by a laser saw or a plasma knife. Even in a deep cave, they found a disc-shaped fragment of an unidentified metal with a compound pattern that does not exist on the modern periodic table. No one knows what it is, only that it cannot be analyzed with current technology. DNA, genetics, and energy. Puma Punku connects with humans? There is a strange phenomenon. When placing biofrequency meters near the rocks at Puma Punku, people discovered some areas emit a resonant frequency similar to a human heartbeat. Many people standing at those rocks feel disoriented. Their memories regress to ancient memories, and some even experience a strong déjà vu phenomenon. The question is the energy structure of Puma Punku not just for engineering, but also affecting the human nervous system? A bioelectric expert makes a shocking observation. If this is true, then this place is not simply architecture, but a device that activates genetic memory, connecting the ancient collective consciousness. Flying saucer Puma Punku, alien landing station? A popular but still creepy hypothesis is that Puma Punku is an energy landing place for alien spacecraft. A few reasons why this hypothesis cannot be ignored. Many areas in Puma Punku have chemical traces of high-heat combustible compounds, similar to modern rocket fuel. A rock has a triangular indentation, similar to the landing marks of a giant tripod. The stone shafts point to specific constellations, such as the Pleiades and Orion systems, which were considered divine in origin in many ancient cultures. The Imira recount. From Puma Punku, the light beings flew into the night sky. They promised to return when humans were ready. Unlocked conclusion. Ancient technology or the forgotten future ray. Puma Punku is not a relic. It is a device an energy code, a proof that defies all modern understanding of physics, technology, and human history. If the hypothesis is correct, we are not the first to reach a high civilization. We are only the latecomers, picking up the pieces of an era that was once greater than ourselves. And Puma Punku is still there, not depleted of energy, not out of function, just waiting for someone who understands enough to reactivate it. We are entering the heart of myth, where history merges with legend, and legend touches the unimaginable. After discovering the buried traces of ancient technology, we now meet the beings who once operated it, either gods or aliens. Chapter 7, Alien Traces, the legend of Viracocha and the gods who descend to Earth. Sunrise over mountains, the appearance of Viracocha, the god who does not belong to this world. Thousands of years ago, the people of the Andes told of a strange creature, a white-skinned giant with a long beard and eyes as deep as the universe, unlike any other indigenous people. His name was Viracocha. He was said to have emerged from the depths of Lake Titicaca, the deepest place in the Andes, worn in a white robe, barefoot, carrying a staff that glowed like the sun, speaking a language that no one understood, but everyone understood. The Incas, the Aymara, and the Quechua all called it by different names, but they all agreed. Viracocha was the creator and the one who came here through the stars. Flying saucer, a god from the stars, or an interplanetary traveler. A curious thing that modern scholars have noted. The description of Viracocha does not match any of the indigenous peoples of the Americas. White skin, in the region of the indigenous peoples who had bronze or dark brown skin. Sunken eyes, light curly hair, tall stature, as if from Europe or the Middle East. Carrying a device capable of flight or illumination. The hypothesis is, perhaps Viracocha was not a god in the spiritual sense, but a space traveler, a person from another planet who landed in the Andes thousands of years ago. DNA genetic intervention. Humans are the results of an experiment? Many legends say Viracocha created humans from stone, but when they became ferocious, he destroyed them with fire and water, and then created humans a second time from mud. That story may imply something deeper. From stone, a symbol of primitive, unliving DNA. From mud, organic matter with the potential for life. Recreating humans is a genetic recoding. Some researchers hypothesize that Viracocha and his kind intervened in the genes of ancient humans, upgrading them intellectually, and leaving a latent signal in the DNA as an activation code for the future. Could it be that the sudden evolution of humans was not accidental, but intentional? Red triangle pointed up the gate of the sun. Images of Viracocha and the celestial beings. On the gate of the sun at Tiwanaku, the central image is a figure with a halo around his head, holding two objects that look like energy weapons, surrounded by a creature with a bird's head and a human body, like a metamorphosis, is believed to be Viracocha. But when comparing with the inscriptions in ancient Egypt, Sumer, and even Angkor Wat, there's a chilling coincidence. All civilizations depict the supreme deity with a halo, sometimes winged or coming from the sky, and always carrying a glowing object. Could they be different manifestations of the same species? Place of worship traces of a cosmic doctrine? According to records, Viracocha did not force people to worship him, but taught them knowledge of the universe, mathematics, engineering, and ethics. One thing that is special, he ordered the construction of observatories to observe the movements of the planets. He left behind techniques for earthquake-proof stone construction, gravity irrigation, and making tools from solar energy. Some scholars argue that it is not a religion, but a scientific spiritual teaching integrated from a superior civilization. This is very similar to the belief of some modern mystics that humanity was once guided, but forgot its teacher. Milky Way they left, but will they return? The Viracocha legend does not end with death. It says, after completing his work, he left the Andes, walked on the sea as on land, and disappeared over the western horizon. The big question is, Did Viracocha and his fellow gods leave Earth by means of space travel? Did they leave a signal? A return schedule? Is the Sun Gate a place that will reopen at a fateful time in the future? Some believe in 2032, when the solar, astronomical, and axial cycles of the Earth converge, they will return through the Sun Gate, bringing with them the knowledge that has been buried for 12,000 years. Exploding head extraterrestrial vestiges, or memories locked within ourselves. Is Viracocha real? A god? An alien? What is the metaphor? There is an extreme but haunting hypothesis. Maybe Viracocha is not from elsewhere, but is an advanced version of humanity itself in the future. A person who has traveled through time to guide his ancestors. We were them, and then we forgot. Performing arts conclusion. Gods are no longer a legend? Maybe what humans call gods, aliens, beings of light, or universe builders. It's all just a name. Different names for the same truth that we are not ready to face. And maybe the gods are not gone. They're just watching us from afar, waiting for the day when humanity will mature enough to remember. The Sun Gate still stands. Not decayed, not collapsed, not a ruin, but a signal, a promise, a trace, a rendezvous between two worlds. Great! We are about to enter a chapter full of watery mysteries, where the light from the sky seems to have once illuminated a legendary city, then all sank into the deepest lake in South America. Chapter 8. Lake Titicaca, the forgotten source of alien life. Waterwave Lake Titicaca, more than just a lake. Located at an altitude of nearly 4,000 meters above sea level in the majestic Andes, Lake Titicaca is not only the highest lake in the world that can be navigable by boat, but also the legendary center of thousands of years of history, mythology, and secrets that no one has dared to decipher. The ancient Incas said, all life began here, not the Amazon, not the tropical jungle, but from the coldest, driest, and most desolate place on the South American continent. Classical building the sunken city at the bottom of the lake. Is the legend no longer a legend? In 2000, a team of Italian and Bolivian scientists announced a shocking discovery. An ancient city sunk to the bottom of a lake, about 30 meters deep, consisting of more than 2,000 stone blocks, walls, altars, and a giant sun temple. The structure is believed to be more than 1,500 years old, predating the Tiwanaku civilization. The head of the research team, Giuseppe Orefici, described it. It's like Machu Picchu, but underwater. Puzzle piece, why did it sink? There are theories that a powerful earthquake caused the ground to crack open and water to flood in, where the lake's water level was once much lower than it is now. And in just one night, the entire city was submerged. The big question is, if the lake is nearly 4,000 m high, how could an ancient city survive and sink in a place that was considered uninhabitable since ancient times? DNA unidentified artifacts. The Viracocha legend reappears. At an archaeological dive site near the Island of the Sun, Isla del Sol, scientists salvaged metal statues that do not belong to any culture. Shards of stone with strange symbols that do not match the ancient Andean writing system. An object resembling a mechanical arm made of an unknown alloy, showing signs of corrosion by time, but the core still glows faintly when near a magnetic field. An anonymous physicist described, "This does not look like an artifact, but rather like a part of some sophisticated device, possibly ancient or extraterrestrial. Cyclone Cosmic Rift, a gate from another galaxy?" In Aymara culture, Lake Titicaca is not only the place where the god Viracocha appeared, but also the eye of the sky looking down on Earth. They believe that in the middle of the lake there is a point. It cannot be measured with conventional equipment. It is capable of disrupting compasses and satellite signals. There, the water and the sky can be reversed, and souls fly into the sky through the inverted mirror. A quantum energy researcher, after measuring the center of the lake, said, "I can't explain it, but this area is like a space tear, a kind of anomalous gravitational knot. Could it be that a kind of space gate once existed here? Flying saucer evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact. In 1977, a group of local fishermen claimed to have seen a bright object rising from the bottom of the lake, making no sound, then leaving a whirlpool trail that lasted for minutes, then disappearing into the night sky. The story was considered a myth until in 2003, NASA released infrared satellite images of the Titicaca area, showing an unusually large heat trail at the bottom of the lake. The shape resembled the imprint of a giant spacecraft. No one could explain it. No one dared to claim that it was just a normal lake bottom. Ein speech bubble Lake Titicaca connected to ancient lakes around the world. Some researchers find strange coincidences between large lakes with alien legends. Lake name legend strange phenomenon. Lake Titicaca, Bolivia, Viracocha descended from the sky heat signatures, sunken cities. Lake Baikal, Russia, giant frogmen, underwater UFOs, strange signals from the bottom of the lake. Lake Toba, Indonesia, where gods reincarnate humans, underground energy ruins. Lake Victoria, Africa, Soul Portal, unusual geomagnetics. The question is, are all these lakes anchor points of a global energy network or alien communication lines? Scroll the water code. Ancient messages from another planet? A bold hypothesis proposed by Dr. Masaru Emoto and reinforced by ancient theologians. Water is a medium for storing cosmic information. If so, could the waters of Lake Titicaca, surrounded by mythical ruins, ancient temples, and unusual physical phenomena, contain messages from a lost civilization? An experiment has been conducted. When psychics were exposed to water from Lake Titicaca, they all heard voices, saw pyramid structures, and felt pulled out of their bodies. There is no scientific evidence to confirm this, but thousands of years of legends cannot be just hallucinations. Compass Lake Titicaca, the beginning of life or the gate to the end. Some believe when the gate of the sun opens, Lake Titicaca will rise as the epicenter of the universe. What is buried beneath the water will be revealed as the last message from the ancient gods. And if humans are wise enough, we will read their message or repeat the mistake that caused the city to sink. When you look down at the still surface of a lake, don't think you are seeing only water. You're looking into the memory of the universe. Amazing. The journey has taken us from the Sun Gate to Lake Titicaca, past alien traces, but the biggest mystery still lies silent, right on the ancient stone face. Chapter 9. The Mysterious Symbols. What is the code on the Sun Gate? Brick a gate that doesn't open, but it speaks. When you look at the Sun Gate, the first thing that strikes you is not its size, but dozens of symbols carved deep into it, untouched by time. A central figure, like a god or an alien, surrounded by strange creatures. Symbols like ancient binary codes, concentric circles, rays, and round eyes. It looks like a control panel, a code encoded in stone, a message meant for no one, except those who know how to read it. I, Viracocha, central god or messenger. The central carving is an unusual humanoid. The head radiates 12 large rays of light, like the sun or a halo, surrounded by 20 symbols of creatures, each with wings, a bird or animal head, and holding an unknown object in its hand. Some scholars believe this is an astronomical map, each creature representing a constellation or an ancient alien civilization. Others believe it is the control part of an ancient device, which Viracocha, the space traveler, used to open the interdimensional gate. Puzzle piece could it be? The rays of light on Viracocha's head represent the activation of solar energy, and the creatures are gatekeepers, or species that have come to Earth. Cyclone, the triple sun symbol, a clue from ancient astronomy? One of the most interesting details. There are 3 concentric circles that appear repeatedly around the gate, called the triple sun or Trinity sun by symbologists. Preliminary interpretation. Innermost circle, the present sun. Middle circle, the ancient sun or spiritual sun. Outer circle, the cosmic light source. not the physical sun. Shocking hypothesis. Ancient people received energy from many different suns or from different dimensions. When compared to Egyptian, Sumerian, and Dogon star maps, which also have the triple sun symbol, we realize one thing. This is not a coincidence. It is an interplanetary astronomical system. DNA biological symbols and DNA messages engraved in stone. Some of the symbols on the Sun Gate have very similar shapes. Double helix, like the structure of DNA. Symmetrical loops, logarithmic spirals like in living cells. And symbols that resemble electronic circuits or early silicon chips. Dr. Bartoli, an expert in decoding ancient symbols, once said, if a genetic sequence were carved on stone, the Sun Gate would be the first tablet. Some theorists even believe that. The Sun Gate is where the first living code was brought to Earth. Somehow, we do not understand. Red triangle pointed up binary code. The language of the stars? An amazing discovery. When converting the repeating symbols into binary, 1 and 0, according to geometric rules, equals a long string appears like digital data encoding. MIT professor Thomas Greaves tried to translate it and realized this string is like a compressed code, which can contain millions of bits of information. It can't be random. If true, the Sun Gate is not just a relic. It's an ancient stone hard drive, storing extraterrestrial data, flying saucer aircraft symbol, and astronaut-like silhouette. Near the lower left corner of the gate, some of the symbols depict a diamond-shaped object with wave lines, like a spacecraft sending signals. A human figure sitting inside a dome-shaped structure, wearing a snorkel or helmet. A flashing mark around the head, like a warning or a glow. The big question, how did the ancients carve an image that looked like an astronaut when they had no idea about spacecraft? Scroll through the star maps, match the constellations Sirius, Pleiades, and Orion. A group of Bolivian astronomers, when superimposing the Sun Gate engraving on a star map, discovered the symbols correspond perfectly to the constellation Orion, the belt of Osiris; the Pleiades, where the Dogon believe the god came from; Sirius, the brightest twinkling star in the night sky. If true, this is an ancient cosmological map, recording the journeys of gods or creatures from distant star systems. Unlocked, can a gate open with frequency? Some indigenous people believe that the Sun Gate is not just a symbol, it is a device. When activated with the right sound frequency, it opens a passage to the other world, an ancient, lost ritual that was performed at the time of the conjunction of the two suns, which only occurs once every 6,666 years. The ancient curse says, he who knows how to sing the right words will pass through the gate, but will no longer be a man, bring a message to the future or a warning. No one is sure what the Sun Gate was built to convey, but the biggest theories include a message from a civilization before ours, warning us of our destruction through arrogance, directions instructions for using the interplanetary gate for future generations when they are old enough, the genetic map and humanity's place in the universe, encoded to wait for the right person to decode. Sparkle's conclusion: have we been reading this stone book wrong for thousands of years? Maybe the Sun Gate is not a ruin, but a device, a library, or a map of space. We see the stone, but we do not see the data inside the stone. A symbol that no one understands. A code that only the highest intelligence can decipher. A gate that does not need to be opened because it opens into the mind. Great! Here is Chapter 10, the final chapter where we delve into the final mystery. The city of Tiwanaku, home to the gate of the sun. Get ready, because this chapter will open the door to the unbelievable. Chapter 10, Tiwanaku, a city built with technology not of this time. A city between heaven and earth, but of none. Tiwanaku, also known as Tiwanaku, is more than just the home of the Gate of the Sun. This is the center of an ancient civilization that remains unexplained. Located at an altitude of nearly 4,000 meters above sea level, there is no nearby jungle, no wood, no wheels, no engines. Yet it contains stone blocks weighing from 100 to 400 tons, cut, carved, and moved with laser-like precision. This alone raises a big question. What built this place? Stones that speak of the impossible. The H stone of Puma Punku. Just next to Tiwanaku is Puma Punku, an area containing stone blocks cut to the millimeter. Perfect, regular H shape. Absolutely square corners. Holes drilled to uniform depth. Edges machined like using modern CNC machines. Some NASA engineers once exclaimed, "We couldn't do better, even with current technology." So how did ancient people, without metal tools, do it? Perfect balance, like printed rather than engraved asterisk asterisk. In Tiwanaku, the blocks are so tightly packed that it's impossible to fit a razor blade into a crack. No mortar, no glue. Some blocks fit together with sawtooth joints, like giant Lego systems. Question: what do they do that for? Some researchers believe they wanted the structures to survive earthquakes or tens of thousands of years. Measurement technology, using advanced mathematical constants, asterisk asterisk. Modern mathematicians have discovered many structures at Tiwanaku follow the golden ratio, 1.618. Large stones are arranged at precise astronomical angles, coinciding with the summer and winter solstices. Even there are intervals repeating exactly according to the cycle of Venus, the planet associated with mysterious civilizations. It is impossible to believe that this is a coincidence. Even more unlikely is the ability of a pre-literate civilization. Could they not have done this alone? Asterisk asterisk. Theories began to appear, bold but irrefutable. 1. An advanced civilization tens of thousands of years before us existed and disappeared. 2. Aliens or other creatures assisted and left tools. 3. Ancient technology, like superfrequency sound, was used to lift the stone with sound waves. There is even a legend that the ancestors of the natives did not build it. They just lived on the foundation of a civilization that came before, and were so afraid that they did not dare to change any stone. Genetics also say this place is not like the rest of the world, asterisk asterisk. Recent genetic studies show that the ancient Tiwanaku people had a very different genome, asterisk asterisk, unlike other tribes around the Andes. They had genetic traces similar to ancient inhabitants of East Asia and the Russian Far East, asterisk asterisk. Could it be that an ancient migration or some kind of landing created this civilization? The gate of heaven, the door to another world, asterisk asterisk. The gate of the sun does not stand alone. Many giant stone passages lead underground, where no one knows where they end. Some legends say the ancients once passed through the gate and disappeared into the light. In ancient rituals, people lit fires, made sounds, and waited for something to answer from the sky. A Peruvian archaeologist went missing here in 1995. Before he disappeared, he told his colleagues, "I believe this gate leads to a real place, and I have found its frequency." He never returned and left no clues. The end or the beginning of something bigger, asterisk asterisk. We have gone from cold stones to codes carved in stone, from the god Viracocha to robotic joints. So what is Tiwanaku after all? An ancient alien center? A giant stone library containing timeless knowledge? A pale copy of what once existed when humans were not masters of the planet? Conclusion: the gate is still there, waiting for those who dare to pass through asterisk asterisk. When standing before the gate of the sun, we do not just look at the stone. We look at the biggest question of humanity. Where do we come from? And is there anyone waiting for us to understand? No one holds a key, because the gate is not locked. It is only waiting for the right person to open it with wisdom.